couldn't stole you, it couldn't revolt you to remold you. And what was a picture of like each little digit of the hands on the microscopic little fan when in my like animation and font combined. But then I'm like to be defined when this had looked behind where everything I saw was in front, but then the same funk to bunt, but been like that same word for what I had just said in its silent form. Then, oh, such lorkin' lorn. I know I've said that before, but never in the future is just the same small little door for, well, what could be more, or if such was the bind scheme, then what would be blindly climbed inside of its side of bay, or if that be the cerebral only, then like when each one was a raindrop drawing a breath, well, like stouts, like probably the same fizzy parts of what makes this Wizzy Le March like K and Tar to be its what would be on the boat type of water race car, or if that take it a little too far, then remind me not to park in the park where I saw my same mark, like from the straight Grublo, like another, well, that's a different kind of Bobleo, like a Bobleo Bible, like if but's been the light strat lamp upon what had clamp inside of a workbench where I had prepared all of my flowetry, then how could I make it flowinglessly created so perfect? Here you see the composition session, but it's a bit of a mention of like the more emeropathic, if you hear the herm, but such was not the sound of the motor, sounded itself like the similitude aforementioned Rana drops, but when each one ran, I came back banner and knew the senna, or if that had been just the kind of wonky, aconiotic, or so chaotic, then what had been the blonics and pantomalonics of what had been its seeming to reminisce its essence of what had been said more clearly in its, translated form. Such shushed it down, but such let the rain pour, or a similar sound, like when you snore, are you at your most contrarios, or if that's the concerto on such or coast, then which coast had been like on top? Well, so I found the same hay stop, hay stump, and where that oil of what that running boat lay, I knew now was metaphorically said, but if we retrace it back, what is the nether verse planted blacked of what is balanced with that little sikite, but I knew cicadas had the same home inside the same head, like Ichiwa, what song had been like how I could harmonize to along such a display, or if that's like basically Monet, then how Hufflepuff is my a little quick two-tip wizardry to be the foolish slip, skip, come back and wink and nap, and this time do it with a snore so loud you're awake enough to see, like, not blindly, all the pinpoints of what had caused the sneeze of some type of, say, near house, or where the mouse had lived and itself befriended such cicada. Now Greekitize it, or maybe that's more Danish. Like, if you could claim that you speak a language, what language was speaking in the eyes of you? Well, replace you with I, and then double twin inside of this propeller spin on side of that Melvin Pimpleton cap where I knew propeller paps or caps and sides for sale had come back but not laughed, had only been the coolest trend ever to retract from the didactic on the overhead that had been like the ballpoint pen that had written back a response in response and 6 pence to be my funds, like that 70s show, like aloha.